when all these films were going, Apuru Sodariga, Michael Madargaon, Rajkumar's films, but for quite a long time, probably even in the earlier days also, I had this idea to make a film on the concept of time machine. It's a science fiction film. This was from the time I read the H.G. Wells novel Time Machine. Actually, when I made the film, they were commenting it was Back to the Future. That is their ignorance. They do not know Back to the Future, Spielberg's latest film. He also based entire thing on Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Time Machine's H.G. Wells was a popular novel, and it was made 2 or 3 times in Hollywood itself in black and white days. So, Time Machine concept was completely from H.G. Wells' times. The way it was made is totally different. This science fiction concept of a time machine I had for a long time, and now I wanted to get a storyline, rough storyline. Now there are 2 ways. One is one person, a hero is there is a time machine, after all, he goes back in time, there is an adventure, he comes back, and there is some adventure, whatever it is there. The essential thing is to go back into a particular period. Which period? We can go to any period. We can go to pre-independence period, we can go to prehistoric period. But important is what is popular and what people will understand, what sort of a story we can get. The 2 more popular areas are, if it is Telugu, it is Sri Krishna Deva Raya, because we have characters of Sri Krishna Deva Raya, great warrior, his 3 wives, and lot of films have been made with Krishna Deva Raya as the main character, and he has 8 poets. Tenali Ramakrishna is one thing, a very famous folklore character. A lot of folk tales also have been come. So that is one period. But there is another period, but that should be made in Hindi, and that is the period of Akbar. So Akbar had Tansen, Birbal, Anarkali, all Salim. So Anarkali and Mughal Azam, so many films have been made. So either it should be in Akbar's time or it should be a Sri Krishna Deva Raya's time. Hindi we do not know. So we wanted to do it on a Telugu because that is accessible to us. And the best person to play that person is Mr. Balakrishna. So Mr. Balakrishna was the ideal hero because his father, Mr. N.T. Ramarao, also played Krishna Deva Raya in a film, and he is ideally suited. There is no other hero. If this film is made, it has to be done only with Mr. Balakrishna. But I did not take it that seriously. I did not meet Mr. Balakrishna to tell this a story or all. I was going on my own. So one day, as I was going in a flight, Mr. S.V. Balasubramanian also was travelling with me, and he was next to my seat. So we were travelling together. I do not know which place. At that time, in spending some time chit-chatting, I told Mr. Balasubramanian this story. He was very much excited. He liked it very much, immensely. And he said, this is a very good subject, a very novel subject, and a very entertainer. It is not a pakka commercial film. He is usually suitable Mr. Balakrishna, who is a star. So we can do this film. So he is not a producer. After coming back, he wanted to tell a few producers, especially I think he told Mr. Ramanaidu the subject. And please, here got Mr. Singeetam Srinivasa Rao, and here one story. It's a very good story. Mr. Balasubramanian told Ramanaidu. So Ramanaidu, when he came to Madras, he called me and I told him the story. Somehow Mr. Ramanaidu did not understand the science fiction part of it. He thought it impressed him as a fantasy film. A person going into a Krishna Deva Raya style was the same thing as a person going to Yamalokam. The difference between going to Yamalokam is a totally different, it is a fantasy. But a person going back in time, in Krishna Deva Raya time, in a realistic way, is a totally different. I thought there was a confusion. He could not understand the difference between a science fiction and a fantasy. He thought it was a fantasy. Probably he was not interested in the fantasy. So many fantasies already come. He just kept cold. So I told Mr. Balasubramanian this, but he did not want to leave. So actually, he said he will push it, and he introduced me to Mr. Krishna Prasad. And Krishna Prasad was the producer of the film. Of course, Mr. Balasubramanian was backing him. I do not know exactly how he backed. He lent all his support. How much of support, what type of support, I do not know, but I definitely understand that there was a full support of Mr. Balasubramaniam to Krishna Prasad, and Krishna Prasad was always there taking his support. See, they are all very close. They are also distantly related also. So he was a part of a family member. So Krishna Prasad started producing, and we had the script. For the script, Jandhyala for the first time was booked for a film. He was already is a very, very celebrated later. Later he became a director, one of the most brilliant writers and directors we have. And he is rich in comedy. When you say Jandhyala, it means comedy. Now, very young age he passed away. It is an unfortunate. It is a great loss to the film industry. So Jandhyala's writing is sparkling. He wrote for big pictures, box offices of Raghavendra Rao, as well as Mr. K. Vishwanath Shankarabharanam. And he wrote for Aditya 369 also. So he was the dialogue writer. Of course, he wrote, I think he wrote for my Rajaparvai. Yes, Rajaparvai he wrote. Rajaparvai, Amavasya Chandradu, he wrote. Then I think he wrote for this Aditya 369. And we called it Aditya 369. It's a science fiction film. The time machine's name was Aditya 369. It's a peculiar name, so that you get a science fiction atmosphere for that. Mr. Jandhyala wrote. And when we are discussing, so we wanted to discuss, the hero will go back into Krishnadevaraya's time for some reason, what a time machine. There are some adventures, satire and all that. Then he must go to the future. I was very particular of the future, because everybody can anticipate Krishnadevaraya's time, because films have come, people know history, they know the characters, Tanare Ramalinga and all that. But future nobody knows. There is an ample scope for us to create. What will be this country and this world after 50 years or 100 years? Different type of improvements will come. So I had so many thoughts, like, though somebody is thinking, they have already invented a particular method by which thought waves are converted to sound waves.
ఇదేం టెలిఫోన్ రా బాబు, ఇంటి గుట్టంతా రట్టు చేసేస్తుంది. పని చేయకపోయినా మన కాలంలో టెలిఫోన్లే బెటరు. పెళ్ళా తిట్టినా పక్కవాడికి తెలియదు. నేను మనసులో అనుకున్న మాటలు స్పీకర్లో నుంచి వినిపిస్తున్నాయి.
ఇది మా కాలంలో కనిపెట్టిన కొత్త మిషన్. మీ మనసులో ఏదనుకున్నా సరే అది టెప్పీమని సౌండ్గా మారి మా స్పీకర్లో వినిపిస్తుంది.
అయ్యయ్యో, ఇదెక్కడ కర్మరా బాబు. మనసులో కూడా ఎవరిని తిట్టుకోకూడదా?
అయ్యా, కాస్త దయచేసి ఏమీ ఆలోచించకుండా ఉంటారా? వెనకాల స్పీకర్లు ఉన్నాయి.
ఏమీ ఆలోచించకుండా ఎలా ఉంటామండి? మాయాబజార్ సినిమాలో సత్యపీఠం గురించి చూసాం. ఇది దాని అమ్మ మొగుళ్ళగా.
So somebody is thinking, I want to go to a particular, I want to go to Delhi today. Immediately that thought wave is converted into sound, and it comes from a speaker, I want to go to Delhi today. Such is the progress of science in that future. So that becomes very dangerous. Nobody is allowed to think. Supposing somebody wants to say he is a stupid or a fool and he is angry, hey, this sort of man is stupid. He cannot tell that, because it will come in the speaker. So it's something a lie detector. More than lie detector, every thought comes in the speaker. So such innumerable incidents we have found there, and we thought we should put the future there. But before that, my friend and Mr. Jandhyala, we had a discussion. Why can't we make it like a satire, as in Mark Twain's a person goes into Connecticut Yank in King Arthur's court. A Yank, that is an American in Connecticut, he goes to King Arthur's court. There a lot of satire takes place. Like that, why can't we do? We just having fun. You go to Sri Krishnadevaraya's time. We talk of the poetry of those poets, the greatness of Krishnadevaraya. Why can't we talk how much of court intrigue there must be there? If today in a democracy we are having so much of controversy, so much of politics, how much of politics we should have in Krishnadevaraya's time in a court? So a poet like Alasani Pedana, he will be trying to undercut another poet, and another poet is a high spy. Some newcomer, a poet comes to Alasani Pedana, sir, I have written this poetry, sir, you please recommend me to Krishnadevaraya. Alasani Pedana finds this boy very brilliant, and he also feels if this boy is promoted and if Krishnadevaraya takes liking to this boy, his seat will be in problem. So he pushes back this boy and keeps himself up. All what the bigger people do to push down the younger people, if they say they are brilliant, they may occupy their place. All this sort of politics I wanted to introduce. Mr. Janjala also had a lot of fun. So we wanted Krishnadevaraya also having spice behind these poets. If they are thinking or talking anything adverse to him, he had his own weaknesses. All this realistic way we wanted to do. But then after a week discussions, we found one thing. Ours is a society of very intolerant. It is an intolerant society. It is an intolerant country. If somebody talks something bad about one particular person, immediately a handful of people, they throw stones, they take flags and protest, and that becomes a big thing in media. People are not bothered. If some F.M. Hussain writes some sort of paintings, something happens, that his house is smashed and he is staying only in London, he cannot come here. Such a great artist. If somebody talks something about religiously, they will protest. Small things I cannot tolerate. Intolerance has become the biggest main of the society. Whereas all Europe, America, they joke about their queens, kings, presidents, everything. I saw Margaret Thatcher fishing and cutting jokes, dancing, all those videos they have come. They're fun, they laugh at themselves. But here it's very intolerant. No, you are belittling. Supposing there is a lot of corruption in doctors. We show a corrupt doctor. Immediately all the doctors will come and protest. No, doctors are corrupt. You are showing doctors in a bad light. We are not showing doctors in a bad light. That particular character is in a bad light and such doctors are there. So for every doctor, we have to show in the script another good doctor, and we have to show the good doctors are like this, there is one person. Why all this? So we scrapped that. So immediately, if supposing such film is thing, first thing is there will be a protest against me, protest against the producer, against Janjala, against Balakrishna. Though you are pulling down Krishnadevaraya, you are insulting Krishnadevaraya, you are insulting our ancient culture, you are insulting our tradition, this down with this picture. Silly. They are not allowing any sort of a satire, they are not allowing any sort of introspection. That sort of an intolerant society we are having. That has grown too much. These parties, the religions, the language. If somebody, one language, he speaks in another state, that language person is driven out. Nobody in that language who speaks the language should stay in this state. So what about these language people in that state? They don't understand. Just for some selfish interest, political interest, mileage, that's all. So we thought of all these things. Why unnecessarily involve a producer's hard-earned money in such a thing? If you want to spend some risk, we put our money, there's no problem. He is investing so much money. Why should we be responsible about his money? He has to be safe. What is the point of taking a realistic film when everything is not against? We go to America, we go to Europe, take such films there. But we don't take films in India. So we decided like that, and we stopped that screenplay and made it totally an entertainer. So our hero goes back into the Krishnadevaraya time. There are strange things happen. Krishnadevaraya doesn't know there is a torchlight. There are so many things about this 21st century happening. There is a Temanali Ramakrishna sings a poem, and our hero, even before he finishes the poem, he starts the poem. Krishnadevaraya asks, how do you know already the poem? Have you got any magic mind in your brain? No magic, sir. We belong to another century future. We know all this. How do you know? We through cinema. What is cinema? We never heard. What is elections? We are elect people. There are no kings. All such satirical dialogues we had, and it is all fun. So that is how we made the script. We told myself, Mr. Balasubramaniam, Krishna Prasad. We went to Mr. Balakrishna. He liked it immensely because not only it's a good subject, he had an opportunity to play the role of Krishnadevaraya. See, all these people, actors, they may do any number of films. but they get one opportunity to make a particular character, a costume picture, a Puranic, mythological, some character. Not all people, not all times get this opportunity. So how many times a person gets an opportunity to play Krishna Deva Raya's character? So he got this opportunity, he liked it immensely.
ರಾಜಾಧಿರಾಜ ರಾಜವಾರ್ತಾಂಡ ಕರ್ನಾಟಾಂಧ್ರ ಉತ್ಕಳ ವಿಜಿಗೀಷ ಮನೀಷ ಮೂರು ರಾಯರ ಗಂಡ ಆಂಧ್ರ ಭೋಜ ಹಜಾರ ರಾಮ ಹಂಪಿ ವಿರೂಪಾಕ್ಷ ಚರಣ ಚಾರಣ ಚಕ್ರವರ್ತಿ ದಿಗಗಂಧ ಕೀರ್ತಿ ಕವಿರಾಜ ಕಲ್ಪಕ ಆಶ್ರಿತ ಪಾರಿಜಾತ ರಾಜ ಕವೀಂದ್ರ ನರಸಿಂಹ ಕೃಷ್ಣರಾಯ ರಾಜೇಂದ್ರ ಬಹುಪರ ಬಹುಪರ ಬಹುಪರ
రాయలవారి వెనక ఉన్నది ఎవరు?
వారే మహామంత్రి తిమ్మరసు గారు.
And for the heroine's role, we wanted, because the call sheets, because so many tricks, time machine is there, we had a new girl called Mohini. She is now in US, and she is the daughter of the secretary, Brother Reskap. She was introduced to us my old producer Panju Arunachalam.
ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ మీ, హేమ అంటే మీరేనా?
అవును.
అంటే మా కృష్ణ కుమార్ని మ్యారేజ్ చేసుకోబోయే హేమ?
నేనే. నువ్వెవరు?
నా పేరు కిషోర్ కుమార్. హాయ్.
ఓహో, నువ్వేనా మ్యూజియంలో?
అవును.
ఏమిటలా చూస్తున్నావు?
నేను కృష్ణ కుమార్ ఫ్రెండ్ లేండి. మీరు కృష్ణ కుమార్కి సరిగ్గా జోడీ అవుతారా లేదా అని చూస్తున్నాను.
For Aditya 369, Mr. S.V. Balasubramaniam's own film almost, he presented the film. So he wanted Mr. Ilayaraja as his music director, and I too wanted him because I had already worked with him for 3 films. So Ilayaraja was fixed, and as usual all the songs of Ilayaraja were very good, very melodious. And one particular song I want to talk about, that is a song which takes place in the 15th century, 16th century in Sri Krishna Deva Raya's time. When hero Balakrishna goes there, she is asked by the court dancer, it was enacted by Silk Smita, she invites him to the house and she tries to seduce him, and for that there is a song she sings called Janavule Nera Janavule.
Nera Janavule Varaveenavule Kilikinche Talalo.
We wanted, because it is, the song belongs to that period, if there was a singer who belongs to that period, it would be better. And Jikki was the one name we all thought of. So Mr. Ilayaraja called Jikki, and we made her sing that song. By that time she was quite elderly, she was not having that memory, she was not at all practicing. One of the greatest, topmost singers she sang in those days, Tamil, Telugu, all the languages she sang. Jikki, Ghantasala, Jikki was the most famous theme, like Lata Mangeshkar of the north. Later, naturally, when she becomes old, she married A.M. Raja, and then now when we recorded that song, she was quite old, but her voice and singing was quite good. Only thing is, she was taking a lot of time, and because of the loss of memory. So she came for the recording, we all met her. I was an assistant when she sang for Dongaramudu and all that. We remembered all those things at that time. She came, and at that time Janaki, S. Janaki, just had finished one song there. Janaki finished her song, she was about to go when Jikki came, entered, and they wished each other, and Jikki started practicing the song. Now Janaki had some other work and her husband was there, so he wanted her to come back. But somehow it is to the credit of Janaki, we must appreciate, a senior singer like Jikki has come. Janaki is comparatively a junior singer. She is very senior. So when she is there, she did not want to go away from there. So she sat there and she just wanted to give a sort of a helping hand to her, just giving her some practice. And like that went on, every line she used to forget. So she one line by line took. And throughout Janaki was helping her. Though her husband was calling her and reminding her of the engagement, she brushed aside all the engagements. She stood with Jinky. Jinky was standing, she was also standing like a junior, very obedient, respectful junior. And by the time the recording was over, it was 10 o'clock in the night. They started about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was a very nice, touching thing which Janaki Amma has shown to Jinky. So the song was written by Mr. Vetur Sundar Ramurthy. And the same thing, the latter half is sung by S.P. Balasubramaniam, which he did it in half an hour. That was a totally different ball game. So the picture is over. Now the important thing is about the camera work. Originally the camera was P.C. Sriram because he had already worked for my Apurva Sodariga, and I told him that this is a time machine film, concept film, and he liked it very much. He was excited because rarely do we get a science fiction films. Some fantasies we will get, but not a genuine time machine film. He accepted. So we all worked, and at that time Tinu Anand was selected as the professor. We selected Tinu Anand. We had a good wig, a white wig, to look like that Albert Einstein. He is a professor because he is the man who constructed the time machine. And P.C. Sriram had an idea. Why can't we have the hair continuously waving in the air? Where we get the breeze, not a big logic. But supposing slight waving is there, that science fiction film, you get that sort of a feel. Immediately we got a table fan, and there won't be any breeze outside. Even there, some sort of, probably, because for realistically, probably there is some window, there is some door, anywhere the wind can come. But wherever Tinu Anand is there, the professor is there, the hair will be slightly moving like that. We always had a table fan behind him, and we worked on that. So he worked, the P.C. Sriram did the first small bits, until he went into the time machine and went back. We had a shooting in Apollo Hospital. P.C. Sriram got all the big equipments, and we lit up the entire veranda, and we wanted a hall, and a hall to be decorated. And we wanted some decorations. P.C. Sriram wanted a particular thing where a boy is there and Balakrishna saves him and comes to inquire about him. That is the scene. We had that oxygen thing. Somebody gave it as a property. We never knew about that. And there was a screen next. We did not know there was a patient. We gave the hall. Later we came to know there was a patient. It was a patient. We did not know. It was the hospital. Had we known that, we would not have entered that at all. We were putting lights and all that, and suddenly, sir, excuse me 1 minute, we want that oxygen. Then why oxygen means there is a patient there. Then why did you tell there was a patient? What is the meaning of our shooting all these things when there is a patient there? We did not tell. You take the oxygen. He went and took the oxygen. Then we waited for 5 minutes because it was already in the continuity. He will come back. Then after 10 minutes he came back. What, sir? You continue, sir. Why you do not want action? No, sir, the patient passed away. It was a shock. It was a very sad thing. I do not know why these hospital people, and he says, no, sir, every day this happens, you go in with the shooting. That man was more interested in watching the shooting because Balakrishna and the artists are coming. He was so crazy about shooting, he wanted to see the shooting. He was not bothered with the patient who is just died. Such was the very, very sad thing. I was very disappointed. I told Mr. Balakrishna, sir, we did not know about this. We came here. Now there is a patient died. I think we will leave this place. And they said, no, they will come, they will remove the body. Something they said, it will take 2 or 3 hours. Until that happens, we will not enter this room. We all came out very solemnly, removed all our rights and came there and sat in that air-conditioned hall there. The doctors came, no, it's okay, sir, very sorry. We just asked the doctors, you should not give a permission like that. You should have told us there is a patient there. We just thought there is a hall available. You did not say there was a patient there. They were with sari, but they are all very, I cannot say more than that. They don't have any sensitive person will not do that. Finally they came, some relatives came, the body was taken, and somewhere afternoon, we had a small work we had, 1 hour, we went there and shot, but it was a very sad experience we had.